Hey guys, it's Chris, and welcome to Toned and Toneful, the self-actualization video podcast, episode number 63, Feelings Follow the Physical. So in this week's episode, guys, I want to talk about how when we make a physical effort in our life, that our feelings can follow it. Many believe that inspiration is the leading part before we do anything. Some people say that we have to think something into existence to speak it into existence to then take action. But sometimes life shows us that the exact opposite can be very, very true. And have any of you guys ever not wanted to go to the gym? And as soon as you get to the gym and you start the maybe second set of your workout, or you do your cardio and you're in like minute 3 and you feel yourself awakening. And those feelings are now following what physically started before your emotion or that natural perception of that you feel inspired had started. And for a lot of people, this can be a very interesting experience because some learn to utilize action as a tool to help their feelings flow. And some are trapped by the fact that they're not using their physicality, and those feelings mirror that as well. One of the really big interesting things about life when you start looking at it on a holistic scale is that many things really do affect each other. Sometimes what we want to do, if we have the wrong feeling about it or we don't feel inspired, we might not take action. And so since we don't take action, it can become almost more of a lethargic type feeling. It can become more of a latent feeling of inspiration rather than something that we're acting upon. Whereas the exact opposite, some people might be acting on that, the inspiration, and maybe not even really feeling it at the moment, but they know that if they are just to take that first step, the feelings will follow. And so in this episode, I want to talk about this idea a little bit for a few moments so that maybe you can find where in your life you can be taking action and utilizing how you feel as a after feeling. You know, we don't want to always be putting ourselves in a position that the way that we feel, which is fleeting, our emotions are fleeting. We don't want to put that as our main driver in our life, because with the feelings as our driver, our destination is our feelings. And that can kind of be an interesting situation because when we're at destination feelings, what that could typically mean is that we are a victim to what our emotion is, and that could be a lot of things that put us into a mental state that we're not prepared for, and that can also put us into a mental state that must be dealt with because we are giving a lot of credence to our emotions. We're giving a lot of credit to them when sometimes those emotions would go away naturally if we were just to give them a little space and observe them. A long time ago, I was taught a quote, and it's that what you look at goes away. So when you fear something and you face it, it goes away. And if you look away from things that you fear, they still exist because you don't see them in the correct light. A lot of people feel very strong emotions and they don't always want to feel them internally, or they want to numb them. And one of the things that I notice with people who take very little action towards the things that they want to take action towards because they're controlled by their feelings is they're living in a state of being numb. Now that could be done by alcohol, that could be done by drugs, that can be done by self-medicating with even social media, money spending. You can go on the list. There's a lot of different ways to take our focus off our feelings and create a state where we can be emotionally a little bit more dull. But at the same time, if we're not taking action into what we want, that emotional dullness is actually keeping us very, very sedentary. It's keeping us in a place where we can't move because what we're experiencing is keeping us in a place that is negative and we can't feel. Now, on the opposite side, there are some people who do take that numbness and they can utilize that to become stronger, and they'll take action. But one of the things that they might not be able to do as well as someone who's doing this clear-headed is that they might be taking the action and they might feel some of the reward from the project being finished. They might feel some of the reward from themselves feeling better about the situation that they're working towards. But at the same time, if you were to take that and look at them really against the person who is dealing with that in a clear-headed way, they're still feeling a muted version of what their self is. And again, the goal here at Toned and Toneful is always to self-reflect to the point that we can pull from the fullest version of ourself. And that means being aware on a lot of aspects, you know? And so again, when we want to start really taking action, it puts us in an interesting space. A lot of us want to feel inspired to take action. But maybe it's not always the best idea. Like, for example, if it gets to the point that you are inspired to lose weight because you're incredibly overweight, there's nothing wrong with you being tired of a lifestyle that you no longer want and you want to fix it. But if we were to take action on the daily level and realize that our physical health and our weight is part of our physical health, we might actually start that work earlier. That work might have been, hey, I don't really want to go to the gym, but I told myself that every week I would do 3 times cardio and it would be 30 minutes each time. And maybe every one of those 3 times a week, you have to convince yourself to go. But 10 minutes into it, every single time you feel better. This person is getting a positive reward set up from being able to say, hey, I know that what I don't always want to do in the moment can be something that I feel strongly in a positive like way about it. And it's something that I can use in my life to remind me that when other situations come up and they're not exactly as I want, I can still move forward and actually do those with great success and do those with, you know, the mindset that understands that everything is a balance. There's some things in life that you're not going to want, and there's also going to be some reward too as well. And this is really important because a lot of people I notice who live in numbness, they have a pretty altered view of what is good and bad, and they have a pretty altered view of their self-perception of their self because they might not have enough positive thoughts, they might not have enough positive reinforcement to realize that if they were to take action, that they would even feel better about themselves regardless of the results. And so as I think more and more about how this last year has gone for me, and I'm going to use myself as an example because it's the only one that I know 100%, the more action that I've taken in the recent months and the recent years has allowed me to be in a space where I can, I'm sorry about that, there was a fly in my face. The more recent times that I've taken more action, I've been able to put things forward for the community and myself that I thought actually were never possible. For example, I have 3 songs done this year, and 1 has already been released, and there's 1 more on the way. For you special Tonefuls who've been writing in the comments, I actually have something special, and I'm coming with a release date for you especially to hear it first. And so in that way, I've become a lot happier because I can take my motion forward and bring it to everything that I want it to be. And when I lay down at night, one of the things I don't have to think is, did I try? Not every time are we going to be successful or is it going to go perfect. But if we can take into account that every time we take a chance on putting the action ahead of just feeling good about it, we can still create a lot of success and actually internal happiness and reward as we move forward. And it might not seem possible, but I see this all the time. You know, people who were like, you know, why did I wait so long to start such a hobby? Because as soon as they started it, they saw a new side of themselves, whether they were unsure if they would be good at it or if it was just one of those things that they just kind of always put off. On Thursdays, I don't want to go to this place to sign up for the class or go to the guitar store and buy the guitar or get the painting supplies to start my first painting. But when people start the projects and the hobbies that they like, that creates more humanism. And remember that our feelings are a driving factor. So the point of this episode isn't to ignore our feelings, but it's to kind of recognize that they are actually a juxtaposition to our physical body and us doing things. So when we have a situation where we're really mentally inspired and we take action on it and those things are together, that's awesome. But there's going to be a lot of different places in our life where the exact opposite will happen, and we're going to have to kind of tell ourselves to do it first. Sometimes you're going to need that checklist, and that checklist is going to allow you to go through certain things in life. That doesn't mean the checklist has to be full of stuff to impress people like it's a like you're in that culture of just like, oh, I got to do success culture, but on the opposite end, you've got to be able to organize yourself in a certain way so you don't have to be wasting too much of your time making decisions. And that is one of the nice things about being able to follow the physical, is knowing that you're just going to do it and you can save all that mental energy to move forward into that subject and do really good, because you're not really questioning whether you're going to do it or not. You're kind of questioning like how you're going to do it, how you're going to get there, what you're going to do. And that's actually what really counts. So for those of you who might have been struggling over this last year, maybe been struggling even a little bit throughout your whole life with, sometimes things seem like you want to wait for that moment to come, or you want to wait for the inspiration to be there before you start. Remember that you could do the opposite. You could try taking action first and then seeing how the feelings follow after. That doesn't mean taking impulsive actions that could get you hurt, put you in unsafe positions. This doesn't mean doing things that could hurt other people and put them in unsafe positions. But what I'm saying is not being so sedentary on our goals and sedentary on our dreams when we really do want to achieve them. I know so many people who I get to talk to in different parts of their life, and they tell me like, hey, I really wish I had done this, or hey, this is a hobby I really wanted to work on, or when they talk to me about artistic things, they go, I've always wanted to do pottery and do ceramics or something like that. Well, who are you to stop yourself if you're able to move forward? Who are you to stop yourself if you do have a couple extra hours of work and you can afford to take the ceramics class? So this is just a reminder for yourself to take action, and that remembering that momentum is everything. And momentum does come from the mental side and the physical side, spiritual side, and our human feeling, which guides our experience. So again, this isn't discounting our feelings, but it's understanding that since they're fleeting, and understanding that since they don't define everything we're going through, we really can allow ourselves to get permission to take action first and feel great about what we're working on, so that we can have results that we can look at, we can take account for, and we can enjoy the process. Remember, this is part of the whole toned and toneful mindset, is not only taking action, but enjoying the process. And when enjoying the process, refining it. So I really appreciate you guys hanging around for this episode. As always, the community has been growing. I've been noticing the YouTube's been growing. More comments have been coming up on different episodes. I really would love your guys' feedback. Please give me anything that you would want to see more of, or if there's things that you would like me to speak about. There's so many different subjects, but I remember that Toned and Toneful is always for the artist and the creator who is looking to self-reflect, so that the internal part of them can be in the work that they do, so that the legacy that we leave is very human and very beautiful. So I want to thank you guys for hanging in there. If you made it to this part of the episode, I would like you to type the word Christmas. It's just a fun word. Just type Christmas. And I want to thank you guys for, again, watching episode number 63, Feelings Follow the Physical. And above all else, stay toned and toneful.